How can you find your life's purpose? How can you find your life's purpose? I remember asking myself that. And if I had a time machine right now and I could go back to my 12-year-old self, this is what I would say to him. I'd say, Tai, remember, the quickest way between 2 points is a straight line. Go directly toward what you want with focus. While the whole world is distracted and lost, you go directly towards it. You'll get there a lot quicker than most people. I'd also tell myself, build on your strengths. If you're an outgoing person, build around that. If you're a shy person, do things behind the scenes. Steve Jobs was shy. He built Apple behind the scenes. Too often we see other people's strengths and we want those to be our strengths and we say, I'm going to do that. No, you can't build on weakness. You can only build on strength. You can't build on your weaknesses. You can improve them a little bit so they're not so bad, but you can't build a life around them.
So people are like, how'd you end up from no electricity, living like that for 2 years to Beverly Hills? And I'm like, I have no idea actually, but life leads you down a path that you don't always understand, except in hindsight. So I guess in hindsight, I'm motivated by adventure. One of the things a mentor taught me is this thing that I call the 4 M's. A lot of people procrastinate. If you bump into most people I meet, I've got about 13 million social media followers now. So I get thousands of people asking me questions every day. And the most common theme, one of the most common, is how do I overcome procrastination, fear, and anxiety? My answer is like, well, you gotta know what motivates you, and different people are motivated in different ways. So the 4 M's, and I've run this by a lot of scientists. Most of them think I'm on the right track. One of them, he thinks I'm missing an M. But the first M is material things, money. The second one is mating / romance. The third one is momentum / freedom. And the fourth one is mastery / status. If you look at any person that you know, and you break down why do they do what they do, it's one of those 4.
And then I would tell myself lastly, I'd say, remember this, you can get almost anything you want in life, but it always takes a tad bit longer than you think. In fact, in my life, I found it always takes me 1 year longer than I think. Always 1 year. If I think I can do it in 1 year, it takes me 2. And most people give up right before. They say the temptation to give up is greatest right before you're about to succeed. We live in a world where people are weak, where they want instant gratification. They say, oh, I'm gonna get a 6-pack, and they don't have the 6-pack 2 days later. And you know what? They give up. Well, you're gonna sit at the bottom then. You're gonna be wondering what your life purpose is your whole life. Because life's a little bit like a ladder. What you want is up at the top of the ladder. You start at the bottom. Everybody starts at the bottom.
That book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. It's interesting. I never loved that book because people use the power of now to mean people have taken it to mean like meditation and stuff like that, which is fine. I'm not anti-meditation, but you can't meditate unless you're the Dalai Lama 10 hours a day. That's not really a solution. I think what the power of now means is just not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past. Kind of like these horses. These horses are not thinking very far ahead. And horses are pretty happy, but they're just in the moment. So I think it's less about meditation and it's more about doing activity. It can be a garden if you live in a city. It can be taking care of animals.
If you want to do big things in life, you have to follow this thing I call the law of 33%. So you spend 33% of your time around people with less accomplishment with you. Those are people maybe you mentor, you help, right? Then you spend 33% of your time around people who are on your level. Those become your friends, people you smoke cigars with. But the last 33% is what's missing in education and society. It's where you spend 33% of your time around people 20 years ahead of you, shadowing them. And a few years ago, I made a list, like everybody that you think of as great people. Albert Einstein. Some of them went to college, but I was like, what's a common thread that they all have in it? And found out that Albert Einstein bumped into this guy, I think his name was Max Levinson, was a mathematician, an older mathematician. Every Thursday, he would go to lunch and talk math with this guy from age 16 on.